All right, I'm back, and this time I've got my lights on, so we're good to go now. Ignore the hole in my shirt. There's green right here, and the green screen, it's interacting with my green screen, so it's all good though. So yeah, we're back, and we're wrapping up week two on this series, my high school football championship series, where we're doing computer simulations versus each other. And I had a really good question in the chat that I think I like to address here, since I don't have my chat showing up on screen. So one of my chat buddies asked me, where did I get the idea for this series to do this CPU versus CPU football game series, championship, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it a football championship series. Um, it really goes all the way back to a long time ago when I was working in Walmart, the electronics department at Walmart. And back then, at the time, we used to have TVs set up where the video game section was. And each TV, there was three of them. There was one for the Nintendo, one for the PlayStation, one for the Xbox, and they were all hooked up to a game system, and we could put games in for people to play as demos. And every year during football season, when it was, especially if it was a slow day, I'd put in either Madden or the college football game into one of the systems, and I'd just pick whatever team was playing that week. If it was the Saints playing, the 49ers, I'd put them on, or if it was LSU playing Kentucky or whoever it was, I'd put that game on, and I just let the computer play itself. And I can't tell you how many people would walk by and stop and look at that screen wondering if it was the real game actually on. I had quite a few people would ask me, "Is the game on already?" I thought it was. I thought they weren't playing till later today. I was like, "No, that's just a video game." So even back then, it was fairly realistic enough of a presentation that it would fool some people. And ever since then, I've always enjoyed kind of watching the computer play itself out every now and then. And then in the process of making these teams with these created teams that I made to the Team Builder app, of course, you got to make them and then put them in the game and see if everything looks the way they're supposed to look. Because if you don't like it, you got to go back and make the edits. And you can't do all this stuff in the game itself. Everything's done on the website. So I've got to go to the EA website, get in the Team Builder app, make all the edits there, then submit it, download it onto the game, try it out, make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. And if it's not, guess what? I got to go all the way back to the website, re-edit, change, make whatever changes I got to make, and then resubmit it, re-download it, and do the process all over again. And it never looks exactly the same on the computer app as it does because the way everything's generated on there, it just doesn't look the same. So until you get it in the game engine with the lights and even the different times of day, because you've got, you can do a game at noon, you can do a game at 3, a game at 6, a game at 8, and the lighting changes and all of that. So the lightings will affect how the colors and the uniforms look and everything. So until you get it in there and actually get the game engine rendering the uniforms and everything, you don't really know exactly how it's going to look. So there's a lot of back and forth involved in the creation process, and through that, I would often just let the computer play itself so I could kind of watch it and catch it from different angles to see what the presentation looked like. So that, along with the story, the old story, just kind of gave me the idea once I started making these high school teams. I started out with my old high school, which I made. On this game, you can create a player and kind of play through as, in a, what is it called, a road to glory mode, where you actually start out in high school and then you play as a high school player, and then as you play in a couple of games, you get offers, and then you pick a college you want to go to based on the offers you get, and then you go from there and you go to your college and you start playing from there. And as part of that process, if you want, you can play with the default pre-generated high schools that are in there, or you can create your own team and import your team and play as that team. So that's what kickstarted it all. Was I made my own high school so I could play as myself on my high school and get recruited and go from there. So that's how it started. And then once I made my high school, I decided, well, I needed another one for them to play against if I want to continue playing as my high school, just in the play now mode. So I made a second one from back in the day that I had the roster from. And then after that, it was just a matter of wanting to do more. So it slowly grew and grew and grew. And then I got to eight of them, and I stopped at eight because it's a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work. So once I got 8 of them, I was like, you know what? I want to do a championship series with this and the CPU versus CPU thing. It's actually fun to watch sometimes, and it's like watching real games. Some of these games are blowouts, like we just saw. That happens in football too. You know, you watch some of these NFL games and college games, and some of them are blowouts, and then some of them are really, really close contests. And last week we had a 1 point game. We had another game that went into four overtimes, and then even tonight, we had a game that was close up through halftime at least, and then things got out of hand in the second half. So it's a lot like real football in a lot of ways. The only thing about the CPU versus CPU is it never fails. When it's third down, they always want to throw a bomb every single time, and I can't figure out how to get the computer to change its logic on that because it just wants to go downtown every time on third down. It's like, dude, come on. All you need is 4 yards. You don't need to throw it 30 yards down the field every single time. But anyway, um, that's it for tonight. Thanks again to everyone who watched. Some of the new viewer, I got some new viewers tonight. That was really cool. It was fun to hang out in the chat with you guys tonight. That was fun. So thank you to everyone watching and participating. I appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe here on my Twitch channel. This is where you're gonna catch everything live as it's happening, and then after the fact, these are going to get uploaded to my YouTube channel at a later date. So you can always go back and catch anything that you may have missed, look for those playlists. And a reminder also that all of these teams here, all of these teams that are featured in my high school football championship series are available for download. Just search my username, Dreadwind94. Make sure you're using the username search box and not the keyword search box, and you can download and import them into your College Football 26 video game and play as any one of these teams as well. So, thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. Looking forward to starting week 3 on this series. I'll update the standings, and then we'll go into round week 3 with a whole new set of games with these teams, and we're gonna see where this thing takes us, and we're gonna crown ourselves a champion. And maybe I'll do something fun. We was talking about that in the chat. Maybe at the end I'll do something fun with whoever wins this, whichever team wins this championship. Maybe I'll pick them and play them against like Alabama or Texas or something like that. Just for fun, for kicks. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Y'all take care.